On Law Weekly today, we'll look yet again at some of the legal issues surrounding the continued absence of President Muhammadu Buhari. Does it accord with good governance to suppress the medical information of the president? And can the lawmakers legislate with a view to allowing Nigerians have full disclosure on the health status of their governors and president? We have the views of a senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Emeka Ngige, on these and other issues. We also have the highlights from the orientation workshop of the Kaduna State government, targeted at key justice sector stakeholders on the implementation of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, plus our recap of the top trending stories from the courts. That's the lineup on this episode of Law Weekly. Hello and welcome. I am Shola Shoyeli. The resume or resign protesters have suspended their protest, urging the president to come back and do the work for which he was elected. But the suspension hasn't stopped the questions trailing the continued absence of the president. To deepen the discussions and prefer some solutions for dealing with all of these issues, I have the views of a senior advocate of Nigeria. I began by asking my guest what he makes of all of these issues.
Well, we run a democracy, and one of the ingredients, if I will use the word of our democracy, is that some will agree, some will disagree, but we should not be disagreeable. The people who are demonstrating that the president should come back or resume or resign, they have their constitutional right to make that agitation. And it was good that the government allowed them to be. They have demonstrated to extent allowed by the law. And then there are those who are equally agitating to the contrary, that they should allow the president to take care of his health, having transmitted power to the vice president, who is now an acting president. So generally, I think it's good for our democracy. It has also opened up the loopholes in our law, and I believe that in future constitutional amendments that will be done to our constitution, the issues that have been thrown up by the absence of Mr. President on medical treatment will be resolved. So I'm not blaming anybody for demonstrating. Neither am I also castigating those who are opposing them. But one thing we should bear in mind is that we're all human. We can all fall sick. We can seek medical attention. And there are some medical treatment that will go beyond 3 months. There are those that will require you to have a rest. So that's why in a presidential system of government, you must have a running mate. The reason why you must have a running mate is that when you are out on occasion like this to go for medicals, your deputy will take over and the system will continue. The system will not be granted a halt. So that is what is happening.
But considering that this is a road that we've traveled before, and in line with the global standards of moving towards transparency, do you think that it accords with good governance to continue to suppress vital information such as the issue of the president's medical status?
One thing is that it is a personal thing. It's not a legal thing to disclose. If the president wants, and it is for him personally to make that decision, that I will inform the nation what his ailment is all about, is left for him. If he decides not to inform us, we cannot force him to do that, insofar as the law allows him to have the privacy of his own health.
So are you saying that we can't legislate the issue of disclosure?
No, it is a personal thing. It is for the president and his handlers to decide whether to inform us what he is suffering from or what he's treating himself for in UK. But if he does not want to do that, we should allow him the benefit of the rights that the law allows him to enjoy.
What about the arguments that we elected him to do a job and he's not here to do it?
That is why you have re-election. If, based on what you have discovered so far, he seeks re-election to that office, you may decide to express your disagreement or your discontent with the vote you are casting at the ballot at the polling station. That is the way this our democracy thrives. You have an opportunity to express your mind through the ballot box.
There are those who cite the public service rules on medical leave. They say that after being away for over 90 days, the president is in breach of the rules, which provides that the maximum aggregate sick leave for a public servant shall be 42 days. Do you agree?
Well, I don't agree with the people making that argument. The president is not a civil servant. The president is the chief executive of this country. That is the embodiment of Nigerian nationhood. He is the one that appoints the secretary to the government that issues circular. He's the one that appoints the head of service that issues circular under the civil service rule or public service rule. So he's not bound by the provisions of the rule. It's meant for civil servant, career civil servant.
But the president is listed as an official under the public service rules.
Yes, based on the 1999 constitution. But to the extent that he's not going on leave like a civil servant, the president may decide that he will go on leave for 60 days. But the civil servant may not go on leave for 60 days. So that shows you that he is not bound by that provisions in the public service rule that are being bandied about the time he will go for medical. The issue of his health challenge or health challenge of any president or governor is contained in section 144 that deals with the cabinet, the Federal Executive Council, passing a resolution that the president should be investigated, the health condition of the president should be investigated by a medical board. That provision